Hello, James here. If you remember last time, I lost my MVP trail in a pond, and so I decided to go ahead and get some more discs this week. I'm today going to be testing the trail, a new one, slightly lighter weight, with the Mamba, also relatively lightweight, which was the most viewer recommended disc of all the ones that I many received recommendations for. So I'll also be doing a little bit of analysis and talking about how these discs worked in testing as well as playing out on the course. So stay tuned and excited to share what I've got. First of all, thank you so much for all the viewer comments and recommendations of discs, and teach me a thing or two about what works for you. One thing I noted was a lot of discs recommended with lower weights. That's helped shape what I'm doing today. Now, the trail I decided to go with a lighter weight because everyone seemed to recommend lighter weights, like I said. So I thought it'd make sense to try that, since I felt like my trail I used to have was a little bit overstable. So I got a new trail. It's 168 grams. The old one was around 174, 175 max weight. I've also bought the Mamba, and that one's in 163 grams. So thankfully I live only 20 minutes away. Well, maybe my wallet doesn't thank me, but 20 minutes away from the main Infinite Discs warehouse. So I can head over there anytime if I'm researching a disc, check it out in person, and then just get it if I want it. So yeah, it's way tempting and it's way fun. But okay, so today we'll get into the throws. We will get into analysis of what went into those results that I got from those throws. I'll be doing that using some fancy data analysis and math, but I won't go much into the math. But I'll share things like arm speed, release angle, launch angle, and obviously the distance the discs ended up going, so we can get a better idea of what results in what distance with what arm speed and so forth with these discs. Okay, so now we're going through some throws. You'll notice I put a bunch of stats on there calculated with my software, and then I show the throw in regular time with the distance. So that was the Mamba. This is now the trail. We've got our stats, including velocities, release angles, launch angles, all calculated for each of these throws. So we got around 45 mile per hour arm speed on average for these first few throws. Our distances are not amazing. They're around 250 feet on all these throws that I'm showing here. I'm just kind of highlighting some of the better filmed throws. This one's set average arm speed was around 50, so 283 feet, went a bit farther. That wasn't my max distance throw, but in the end, you see these summarized results here. So we had our Mamba, 163 grams, average distance 258 feet. We got our max distance of 315. And I later played a course twice, two different courses, and got best drive 8 times between the two courses from the Mamba. The trail, 168 grams, average distance thrown 262 feet. My max distance was 354, and that was on a previous day. Number of best drives in my 2 rounds of disc golf, 13. And that's speaking distance wise, right? So overall average arm speed with the data I collected and all that analysis I did was about 42 miles per hour. Last time I did look at a couple decent throws and they were around 46. We saw 51 in this stuff we just looked at. I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say, given my iPhone video analysis, I'm getting somewhere between 45 and 50 miles per hour on my arm speed. I was messing around with my form during the majority of these throws, and so I didn't really necessarily get the best results distance-wise and so forth. During my couple rounds I did not mess around with the form quite as much as I was during the sequence of all the throws that you saw some of here a second ago. So overall, another metric that's important: what disc did I get the most accurate drives with? So both rounds I had a decent throw with the Mamba. First course, it was about a 240-foot hole. I got there within about 10 or 12 feet of the basket. The other course I played, I threw, it was 295-foot hole and just 1 foot from the post. That was an awesome throw. So both the most accurate went to the Mamba. The slight distance edge went to the trail across the board. And again, my max distance ever has now been broken. The trail has broken the record. The river had it. The trail got it when I happened to just be playing a lunch break round of disc golf without filming. And that trail went 354. I really feel like that trail is a lot straighter, a little more understable than my lost trail that was a little heavier. So I'm gonna say this lighter weight makes a noticeable difference. I did notice also, after people started asking about weights, the inertia disc that flew according to flight path and did quite well last time was 166 gram, which is definitely a little bit lighter. And I think that's why it flew nicer than the trail did for me. So where do I stand now on which of these two discs I prefer for my back slot? That's a tough one, okay? I am pleasantly surprised with the Mamba. It does give a nice S-curve flight path pretty easily. I think, you know, you get that max distance shot with the trail early on, right after I got it. And that it's hard not to bias towards the trail. But I'm gonna say that I really feel like both these discs have great potential. For whatever reason with me, a little bit of an edge on distance to the trail. I will say also, my son went disc golfing with me on the second round I played through. He, at the end of the round, he had been throwing the Leopard, a Champion Leopard, and it kept burning over to the right for him because he naturally throws on Anheuser a little bit angled upward. And when he threw, I had him throw both the Mamba and the trail. The Mamba went 222 feet for him, which is really good for him. He's only played disc golf probably 5 times ever. And the trail for him went 247 feet. So that was on flat ground. That was his max distance ever. And that thing just sailed on out there for him really well. But they both were better than the Leopard for his ability to get them to go straight and control them with his Anheuser throwing. So no idea his, arm speed. The form certainly isn't there, as he's barely played this at all, but he's got a pretty awesome distance considering zero experience. He's way ahead of where I was. So yeah, he's 21. But anyway, so yeah, trail was his favorite. Trail has been my favorite. It beat the river for distance. I feel like it's a little more consistent for me than the river. I did test the river, and it's not included in these results. The river was the bottom of the pack for trail, Mamba, and river as far as distance goes on all my many, many throws. So I feel like I'm narrowing down at least with this lighter weight trail, a improvement in my max distance driver slot in my minimal bag. Just taking a little walk down the hill. So, how did it go overall with these discs? I feel like I've learned a lot testing them. I've learned a lot setting up the analysis code to look at different metrics, right? I've learned a lot about my form, and I've learned I definitely have a lot of work to do. Always a work in progress, but a lot of fun. I've also learned that testing is most fun, honestly, done by just playing around on the course with a very minimal bag. This time I tested, playing through 2 different courses. I did 9 holes on the first one, and I did, 14 holes on the second one. Didn't quite play through the full 18. And I really enjoyed just throwing the 2 drivers I was testing along with a putter for that entire effort. It really was a lot of fun. So I probably will look at a little bit more of a practical version of testing most of the time. However, if I get a really nice shot, or maybe a really bad shot in the future, I'll run the analysis and see what the release angle was, what the launch angle was, and of course what the arm speed was that got me whatever distance. And so kind of fun to have that option, analyzing video footage. Anyway, really appreciate once again all the feedback, and I will continue to incorporate the forum feedback, the disc recommendations. The biggest thing, everybody said choose lightweight. I'm a believer now. Weight does make a difference. And, I kept going with max weight just because max weight must be good. It's biggest. But no, not necessarily. So highly recommend others checking out lighter weight discs. So again, if you guys have further recommendations, if you'd like to share, please do. I love to hear it. I love to be part of the conversation. And just again, no, I'm not an expert. Learning as I go, just sharing the things that help me, or that I know that comes from the experience of just trying to do this. So thanks again for sharing your journeys with me as you share the comments. That's been a lot of fun to hear. And please continue to comment, like, subscribe if you'd like to see more stuff like this. More analysis, more testing of discs, and just more probably casual stuff playing rounds as well. Thanks a lot. We're way off. So yeah, every time somebody's out here while I'm filming, I just can't help but feel like that Uncle Rico guy on Napoleon Dynamite. He's out there with the football thrown for the camera, nobody around. I always tell my kids, yeah, I'm going out to be Uncle Rico. How much you want to bet I can throw a disc over the mountains? Anyway, not the wrong form. That ain't happening.